Hello everyone and welcome back to Beatley Tone's Beatles channel. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me for this video and I hope you're all doing well. Now in today's video I want to talk about Record Store Day. Now that the dust has settled on Record Store Day, it was a week ago now, and for me it was my first Record Store Day, the first one that I actively participated in and did the whole going up and queuing outside the record shop thing. So I kind of wanted to talk about whether we think that Record Store Day is a feast for record collectors or it's a fiasco for record collectors, and I'd love to get your views on what you think about Record Store Day, because up until this Record Store Day I'd always been a little bit ambivalent about Record Store Day, not really bothered, not been that many things that I'd been that interested in getting, certainly not interested enough to go and queue outside a record shop in the middle of the night to get, but I have done that now, so I kind of wanted to review it. So I've kind of got I've got some good points about Record Store, things I think that are really good about Record Store Day and things that I don't think are very good about Record Store Day, and this is just my opinion, and I don't expect you to have the same opinion, but I am interested in what your opinion is and how you feel about it. So okay, let's get going. So I'm going to start with the good things, the things that I think that are good about Record Store Day. Now the first thing that I think, and this is a really important one I think, and that is that Record Store Day encourages record labels to give us unusual or desirable releases, maybe albums of unreleased material or old albums with unreleased material included that have never been out on vinyl before, things being released on coloured vinyls, different coloured vinyls, etc., that sort of thing. So what Record Store does is it encourages the record labels to put things out that we might not have got had there not been a Record Store Day, a kind of a window for them to sell this kind of stuff in, and I think that that is a really good thing. And you know, there was lots of nice things in this you know, in this Record Store Day. I thought the David Bowie 7-inch singles box was really nice. I didn't get it. The Elton John Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player on the sort of the red marble vinyl was lovely, and I got a really impressive Thin Lizzy album live performance, which was actually recorded the day after I saw Thin Lizzy myself at the Southend Kersal, and that was my first ever gig, so it kind of had this kind of you know, it was a really sort of you know, quite you know, a thing for me to get an album that was recorded by the band that I saw the night before, you know, that I, you know, have not heard that material since that night, and it's almost certain that on the album that I picked up they were playing exactly the same set as I'd heard in my very first gig, the first gig that I ever went to. So that was quite an important pickup for me. And of course the Paul McCartney and Wings Red Rose Speedway was part of this, the half-speed master, which forced my hand. It forced my hand to participate in Record Store Day. So unusual releases or exciting releases or desirable releases is a really good thing about Record Store Day. Okay, number two, the thrill of the chase. Now, a lot of people, I would imagine, really enjoy the seeking, the hunting down of the records. Which record store is gonna stock the records that you want? You know, you have to phone them up and find out what they're gonna have, and if they, you know, if they're gonna stock the record that you want, how many are they gonna get? And quite often, you know, they can't tell you, because you know, they can order so many records, but the record companies will only give them, they'll tell you the record companies will only give them the amount of records that they want to give them. So if they, even if they, you know, a lot of record stores do this really good thing where they have a kind of a wish list online and you know, you can fill out a form and tell them which records you want, and they would base their ordering habits on people's wish lists. So you know, if 10 people say they want to get Red Rose Speedway Half Speed Master, then they'll try and order 10 Red Rose Speedway. It doesn't mean they're going to get them, but they're going to try and get them. So that's a kind of a, you know, a good thing. So you know, you have to you know, search around, you know, different record shops. Are you going to get this in? Are you going to get that in? That sort of thing. And obviously they, you know, you want to try and get a record store that is quite near to you. You don't want to travel miles and miles and miles for it. So the thrill of the chase, I imagine, is, you know, it's a good thing. It's quite an exciting thing to try and hunt down the record stores that are going to, you know, are going to stock the records that you want. Okay, point number 3. Chatting to fellow record collectors in the queue. This was something that I really enjoyed. I had a bloke standing behind me who was just he was to Kraftwerk and the Stranglers as I am to the Beatles. He was an absolute nutter, and I really enjoyed chatting to him about his collecting habits and stuff like that. There was a young girl standing in front of me who was after the Taylor Swift album, and various people that are walking up and down the queue, they kind of chat to you, and it's really interesting, you know, finding out what people are into, what records they're after. So all that is lots and lots of fun. That's a good thing. A bit of camaraderie in the queue. Everyone's there for the same purpose, and it's, you know, it's just interesting to speak to other collectors or music fans, not necessarily collectors, but fans of music, and just finding out what they're trying to get. And the fourth thing that I've got in favour of Record Store Day is that it is really good for independent record stores. Now, as you know, only independent record stores take part in Record Store Day, and obviously this is a big bonanza for them. It's the only time of the year where they've got several hundred people queuing outside of their shops to get in, and I expect they make a lot of money that keeps them going for quite a long time on Record Store Day. And you know, I think this is a really good thing for record stores, because obviously they can't compete with big record stores or record selling websites as far as numbers go. They can't go out and buy loads and loads of copies of all these albums, because they just don't have unlimited funds to be able to do that, like someone like Amazon or HMV might have. So for independent record stores, it's a good thing. It keeps them going, and you know, we like to have record stores that we can go into and browse through their crates. So that is 4 good points about Record Store Day. Now I'm going to talk about the things that I don't like about Record Store Day. Number 1, queuing up all night to get an album. Now, I know that there are loads of people that really like this. I've seen videos of people doing their Record Store Day video, and they're in their car and they're driving along and they're going, yeah, it's like it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm half asleep, but I'm going to this record store and it's like 50 miles away, and I'm after this album and I'm after that album, and that is great. Some people would like to get up in the middle of the night and go and queue for records. Some don't, and I'm one of those. I don't really want to have to get up in the middle of the night to buy a record. I'd rather just go onto a website and just click on it and have it delivered to my door, as ridiculous as that might sound. But so that's one thing that I'm not keen on. I'm not keen on the fact that I have to get up in the middle of the night to go and queue outside a record store in the freezing cold for 6 hours or so. Okay, so we've already had the thrill of the chase, and then countering that is the bore of the chase, and it's kind of the opposite of what I said for the thrill of the chase. The fact that you've got to spend time, you know, phoning up various record stores and trying to find out whether they're going to have the albums that you want. And when I when I did it, when the record store list was announced, I phoned up a record, my nearest record store, and said, "Are you going to be getting this in, and are you going to be getting that in?" And they said, "I can't tell you, mate. We won't know until nearer the time." And that's sort of the situation. So I had to, keep phoning back, and eventually it got down to sort of the week of record store day when they could actually tell me what they were getting in and what they weren't getting in. But obviously they're getting them in small numbers, so they might. My main priority for this record store day was the Red Rose Speedway Half Speed Master, and they can't tell me how many they're going to get in because they just don't know. They can, if I was talking about wish lists before, if 10 people want an album, they can try and order 10, but they'll only get whatever the record company decides to give them. So it might not be 10, so then it's down to where you are in the queue as to whether you get one. And that, to me, is a right royal pain in the arse, that you can go, get up in the middle of the night, go and queue up at your record store, and they either haven't got the record that you want, or they've just sold the last copy. So that is something that I don't like about it. Okay, the next thing that I don't like is the limited edition thing. Now, I understand the need for limited editions for Record Store Day, because these are independent shops, and there's not that many to go. There's lots of record shops, but they're kind of creating collector's items in a way, and I'm not sure that that's a good thing. I don't. For example, with the Red Rose Speedway Half Speed Masters, now all the others in the series have been available to buy from Amazon or from Paul's website or whatever. This one decides it's going to be a record store only. Well, it was record store first, so first going to go on sale on record stores, and if there were any left, they were then going to be sold online. But basically, if you're already invested in the Half Speed Master series like I am, and you've already got the first three, then you want number 4, which is Red Rose Speedway. So you'll have to, pull out all the stops to try and get a copy. I think these were limited to 2,500, which isn't many. And MPL, if they look back to last December, when they put out the 7-inch singles crate, 3,000 of those were made, and that sold out instantly. And you can't say for certain, but I'm pretty sure that if someone is willing to spend 600 quid on a singles crate, then they're probably big enough fans to also want to get hold of these Half-Speed Masters. So they probably knew that they could sell 3,000 as an absolute basic minimum of these, and so they put out 2,500 of them. So that's not a good thing. The John Lennon box set, limited to 1,500 worldwide. That's not very many, so most record stores wouldn't have even had a copy of it when it was announced. And I did my video about what was coming out on Record Store Day. I said I was definitely in for the John Lennon box. It was absolutely beautiful. We saw Andrew and Larry opening it up, and it is fantastic. A really nice looking set, and I did want it, but when they announced what the price was going to be, that meant I was out of the running for that. When they said it was going to be £400, that was too much, and I don't think that was a realistic price for that box set, because it's not, it's 9 EPs, very, very nice looking box set, but it was 9 EPs, and the nearest sort of thing we can kind of compare that to, as far as sort of manufacturing costs go, would be say the George Harrison All Things Must Pass, the ALP box set, which probably would cost roughly the same to produce, if not more, because it had a big hardback book with it, which the John Lennon set didn't, and that was around £200, and at £200 I probably would have gone for it, but at double that, that put me out of the game for that one. But I would have loved it. It did look really nice, but on the other hand, it didn't have any new music on it. I have got the 4 LP, the black vinyl set that came out in 2020. So the fact that it doesn't have any new material on it means that, we're not actually missing out on anything apart from something that looks very beautiful. But we're not actually missing out on anything musically. So that's okay. But I understand that was created as a premium item and as a collector's item, and that kind of falls into this bracket of creating collector's items for Record Store Day, but it's not something that is exclusive to Record Store Day. They can create limited editions for any time of the year. Okay, number 4 bad thing. This whole flipper thing drives me nuts. So this is people who are basically, fair play to them, they are doing all the legwork for you. They're the ones that are driving however many miles to go to a record store and queuing up in the middle of the night to try and get these records. But they are, and because they are doing it purely for profit, they're going to make sure that they are right at the front of the queue and they're not wasting their time queuing up for something that they're not going to get, which means that they are taking a copy of an album that someone further back in the queue, who has also been there quite a while in the queue, maybe not as long as the bloke near the front, but they might have been there, 4 or 5 hours. They're not going to get the record that they want because this bloke is right at the front of the queue, and as soon as he gets home, he's sticking it on eBay and he's selling it for twice the retail price. Record Store Day creates this market, not exclusive to Record Store Day. Any sort of collector's item or things like that are going to create that situation. It's not a good situation. It's ripping off the true fans, and fans have got to scrabble about and search for websites to try and find the best deal, but they know they're going to be paying a lot more money for this item than they would have been a few hours ago. So I don't like that about Record Store Day, but that is something that's not, like I say, is not exclusive to Record Store Day. Okay, right, now point number 5, this one might be a little bit controversial, but so I said on the good points that Record Store Day is really good for record stores. They make a lot of money out of it, but independent record stores can't compete with big record stores or big record selling websites because they can't afford to buy stock in numbers, which means that they can't get a sort of a discount from the record label to enable them to sell them cheaper. So you're paying a premium price. So although Record Store Day is keeping these independent record stores open, what we're doing is creating a situation where we are paying more for the record, than we would if we were buying it off of Amazon or somewhere else where they're able to apply some sort of discount to the price. So us, by supporting Record Store Day, we're supporting independent record stores, but on the other hand, by supporting independent record stores, we're making ourselves pay more for buying records, which is a bit like turkeys voting for Christmas or Thanksgiving or something like that. So not a good thing either. I would like to see independent record stores kind of stay away from new albums and let Amazon and all the other websites deal with new records and just pile them high, sell them cheap, second-hand records. That's what I love about independent record stores, is going in there and digging through the crates of the second-hand stuff, the the new stuff that they carry, you know, it's more expensive than we would pay elsewhere. They don't have much of it either. Where they could really make their money is on the second-hand record market. Okay, so that is that. And my final thing is, which is a bad thing, is I'm not sure that I actually need any encouragement to go and buy records. Don't need a special day to be told this is the day that I can buy my records, because, you know, I buy records anyway. I don't need any more encouragement to buy records. I'm going to buy them anyway. So that is my number 6. So those are all my points. I had 4 things in favour of Record Store Day and 6 against it, which makes it sound like I'm dead set against it. I'm not sure that I am, and you can't sort of just take it as 4 good versus 6 bad, because each item on those lists kind of has to be weighted, because for something like my number 1 on the good list, you know, that Record Store Day creates unusual or desirable records to become for sale, is a massive thing. It's a massive thing. It's probably the number 1 good thing about Record Store Day, and that kind of almost outweighs any other bad thing, if you see what I mean. So it's not necessarily 4 versus 6. Some of each of the good and the bad points are not as important as others, so you kind of have to weigh it up. Despite my misgivings about Record Store Day, I don't want to mislead everyone, because you know, my first foray into taking part in Record Store Day was very successful. I picked up some great albums. You may have seen the video that I posted last week showing what I did pick up. I was very happy with it and had you know, a really good time with all this thrill of the chase, bore of the chase, all that sort of stuff. The only thing that I didn't manage to get that I wanted was the Ringo album Stop and Smell the Roses, the 2 LP version, but I have managed to get hold of one now, and I'll be showing that in a video coming fairly soon. So it was a successful day and I did enjoy it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Record Store Day. I don't expect you all to agree with all the points that I've made here, but I am interested in your opinions. Do you think Record Store Day is a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Do you love it? Or are you ambivalent to it? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Love to hear from you. As you know, I read all your comments. I will respond to all your comments. So all that's left now is to say thanks very much for watching this somewhat ranty video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, Stuck Inside These 4 Walls this coming Sunday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, 5 o'clock in the afternoon if you're in the UK. As I say, thanks for watching. Hope to see you Sunday. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.